Hey David, welcome. Hope you're having a good weekend. Hey Ostamura, welcome to the stream. Glad you could be here. Yeah, thanks. I'm hanging in there. Nothing going drastically wrong in my life right now, so that's better. It's the best we can hope for. Yeah, David, Act 2 is my favorite as well. I love the storylines that permeate all of it. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. There's not nearly as much cheese in Act 2 as there is in Act 1. But So I know M will be disappointed by that, but yeah, no, it's a great section of the game. Act 3 can be very overwhelming for people, but there's a lot of content there that they've kind of put into it. So it kind of gets a bad rap. I mean, it gets bad rap because of the frame rates when it came out and all that sort of stuff and the loading times. But as far as the content goes, there's just so much of it that you get quickly overwhelmed. Here in Act 2, there's a lot of stuff to do, but you never feel overwhelmed about it all. And multiple options on how you approach going through it and what you do. I really, really like it. Customer, do you mean like another game or off-stream playthroughs of this? I have 2 off-stream playthroughs of Baldur's Gate right now going through. Even after almost 1,500 hours, I still haven't finished the game officially. Neither one of my off-stream playthroughs have finished the game. But if you're talking about other games, I am playing a few things offline. Stuff that I've always played. I'm beta testing a modded Minecraft pack that I'm really enjoying. I am about to get back into, coming up here in a couple of weeks, get back into Elite Dangerous for a little bit again with the new ship release. I want to get into that and check it out. And I'm waiting for Exodus to come out. And yeah, a few things kind of tinking around in the back of my mind about things to do. One thing I am not doing is playing any Souls-like games. So that is not happening. It seems like every month somebody puts out a new Souls game, or a new Souls-like game. And yeah, I am never going to play any of those again. So give up all hope, or give up hope all ye who enter here, for ever seeing me stream a Souls-like game. Sorry. But yeah, with 2 live streams coming to an end fairly quickly, I will probably drop back to streaming on the weekend and possibly putting out a video on Wednesday instead. But I'll have to kind of see how it goes and kind of look and evaluate what happens. It may be that I start streaming a new game on Wednesday and then maybe it graduates, so to speak, up to the Sunday live stream. I don't know. It's really kind of up in the air as to what's going to happen with the game. Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl, I didn't play the first one because it is a sequel to Stalker. I didn't play it. I don't do a whole lot of FPS games anymore, but it's certainly in that genre blurring area, kind of like Starfield is and that sort of stuff, where you're playing first person, but it's not like Call of Duty or something like that. So I'll kind of have to see. I mean, it would obviously be a should I put it? It would be a popular choice. It would be a new subscriber choice to do it. But we'll see. Like I say, there's things that are in the works. I've got about probably 3 weeks before the Paladin livestream ends, I think. So we'll kind of look at it and see. And I'm also waiting to check out Dragon Age. And like I say, there's a bunch of games on that list. But some of them are forthcoming. So there may be like I say, a little bit of a break from 3 live streams as we wait for other things to come out. I wouldn't want to commit to a live stream for a game and then have one of the ones I'm really looking forward to come out and it be better and not have a slot for it. Yeah, the graphics are incredible. I mean, Unreal 5, I mean, I don't know what else to say about Unreal 5. It's always looked incredible, but this kind of takes it to a whole new level. So I'll be anxious to see what the system requirements for that type of playthrough are like as well. I've seen game footage from the people who have early access to it, but very few people talk about having a mid-level PC when it comes to that stuff. So like I say, I'll be real anxious to see how that plays out as well. And I think that's kind of where everybody's waiting to see, Customer. Oh, and hey, Lord Henry, welcome. Dragon Age, I really enjoyed all of the previous Dragon Age games, including Origins. I really liked them. I was one of those people who went against the reviews on them. I really enjoyed them all. I think there's a bunch of people, Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro included, who are waiting to see how well BioWare does the launch of Dragon Age Veilguard, and we'll see if they knock this out of the park with new and innovative approach to the franchise. Then I think there's a really high chance that they're going to be the developer for the next Baldur's Gate game in the series. Obviously, their history of having done it in the past. We'll just gotta wait and see how it works out. Welcome everyone to today's live stream, episode number 21 of our Baldur's Gate 3 Honor Mode gameplay series. I'm Commander Jorval, and I want to thank you for coming along on our journey today. So nothing new on admin notes. On our recap, we had finished up with the Githyanki crash at the end of last week's live stream. And I said I was going to do a bunch of stuff off stream. Unfortunately, I forgot that ending the Githyanki crash here kind of locks you in to a couple of things, including a long rest, and I didn't want to take any long rests and have any conversations, especially ones with cutscenes, without having you all here. So I'm going to take care of all of that housekeeping stuff off stream after this week, which will include selling, clearing out inventory, all of that sort of stuff. We are going to go through at least a couple, possibly 3 respecs as we go through things here, but starting off at the introductory parts of Act 2, there's really no reason that we have to do any of that today. So let's jump in back in the creche and we'll kind of talk quickly about where we are and where we're going here. Hey, Rudy, welcome. And yeah, Austin, like I say, I loved all of the series, even though the you know, some of the later ones got horrible reviews. But yeah, we'll kind of wait and see what happens. So here we are in the creche, and our inventory is chock full of garbage to sell because, again, we're kind of locked in here a little bit on what we want to do. So I can't change my party out. I can't go to camp. I can't transition from here to a different region. In other words, if I wanted to sell some more items back at the Myconid colony or something like that, again, I would be locked into a cutscene. So I think what we're going to do is, since we have Gale in our party, we're going to head out of here. We're going to have the interaction with Elminster, and that's going to trigger a camp cutscene. Then we're immediately going to fast travel out. That's probably going to trigger another cutscene, and then we can kind of get on with transitioning to Act 2 while I kind of temporarily put a bunch of this stuff in trash bags and throw it into camp. So for now, let's head back out to Trail to Crags here. And we're gonna head up.
I have to keep going.
This way, and you don't have to have Gale in your party for this, but it's better if you do, just from an RP perspective, and that's because there's a weary traveler down here. Now, this weary traveler's Elminster. Elminster is one of the most famous names in the entirety of the Forgotten Realms as the preeminent wizard in the Forgotten Realms lore. So for tabletop, this name is known by everybody. He's in the game here as a level 20 construct. You can see certainly got stats that would reflect that. A lot of his notable features here, however, are missing. Things that you would expect out of a level 20 are kind of missing because he's not meant to be put into combat here. So we're going to go down with Gale in our party, and we're going to have a conversation with him. It's going to trigger a cutscene once we get close. And this is why I didn't cross the bridge.
Who there, wanderer? Stay thy course a moment to indulge an old man.
Elminster?
The very same, Gale. And a fair bit miffed he is, too, finding himself forced to expose his best pair of boots to so many miles of country road on your behalf. Oh, I know a minstrel by trade when I see one. Tell me, what ballad bold enough to lift me onto the pedestal of acclaim enjoys your musical predilection? Oh, is that so? The lyrics are by Volo, you know, whose name alone is sufficient enough criterion to arbitrate its acclaim to truth. 2 weeks I had to endure, a frozen beard and wicked frostbites, yet he makes it sound like a dalliance through the dales.
Yes, yes, yes. Be that as it may, you said you came all this way on my behalf, did you not? For what purpose?
I was bid to spare neither time nor my own self to find you. She sent me, Gale. You know of whom I speak.
But why? Out with it, Elminster. Please.
Young man, has your sojourn away from Waterdeep washed away your decorum as well as your patience? Nigh a 10-day I've gone without honest fare, worthy of the name. Drank naught but what the sky entitled my thirst. Why, some bread, cheese, and a cup of wine would appear unto me a feast. Surely you won't begrudge me a mite of rest and repast before I get out with it?
Oh, for the love of...
Well, this way then? To your camp. Oh, don't dawdle now, lad. You're the one who's in such a frightful hurry.
Oh, nigh on 13 centuries old and he still thinks with his stomach. We'd best follow and see if he's more disposed to speak plainly once it's stopped its grumbling. A wise choice. Better to indulge your curiosity than Elminster's appetite.
Yes, what a delightful wedge of old Elfturian that was. Doesn't do to parley on an empty stomach, you know. Makes one's words frivolous when they should be grave. Plenty to digest, after all. A good deal to stew over, if you will. Words ladled with import should be savored so as to better absorb their meaning. Wouldn't you agree?
Elminster!
Right. You see, well, that is to say, Gale, my boy, I've come to address a most pressing matter. I'll speak as plainly as I can, forswearing the accustomed frills that decorate my speech. I'm here on behalf of Mystra. The message and the charge I bring you are hers.
Oh, Mistra's delicate feet are ill-suited for the hardships of the road.
You know where you went wrong, Gale. No, we needn't dwell on that here and now. But even so, you're to be given a chance of redemption.
Mistra would consider... forgiveness?
She would consider what she considers to be forgiveness. Mystra is aware of the misadventures that have befallen you both. She knows of your strife with the Absolute, that most insidious of evils. The very purpose of my presence, in a roundabout sort of way. You must know that the Absolute is more dangerous than you can possibly conceive. It threatens all who live, even those who are undying. It threatens the gods, the weave, the very fabric of the universe itself. That is why I have come here to charge you, Gale, with its destruction. It is Mistra's belief that only you can.
The orb.
Precisely. Mistra has granted me the power to stop the clock, as it were, on the orb's rush to overpower you. Instead, you will be able to unleash its lethal combustion at will.
Interesting. This could be help, or hindrance. We shall have to see.
You must find the heart of the Absolute, whatever that may be, and use yourself as the catalyst that will burn it from this world.
He is not. But it seems that Mystra is.
It brings me no pleasure saying this, my friend. But such is Mystra's will. Yours must be the sacrifice that will undo the Absolute. And for your sacrifice, you will be redeemed. Such is Mystra's promise. With that, I've said my sorry piece, and need only bestow unto thee the charm I was bid. Meine Hastra Mistrariel Italion Thras Annas Dithra. It is done. Both charge and charm have been committed into your care. To you, I commit into care Gale himself. I count on you to shepherd him well on this strangest of journeys.
Or some other fortune altogether.
Like moons make swell and wane the nescient seas, so too the sky-strewn gods ordain the tidal fates of mortal days. And yet, an ocean born in lonely hours, come ebb, come flow, come all that is beyond the breadth of our dominion. Be a moon unto yourself. Even the waves of fate can break upon the shores of will. Farewell, my friend.
Farewell, Elminster. I'm glad she chose you.
First of all, a little aside, I love listening to the language that writers use when spellcasters are casting spells. One of my favorite tabletop campaigns, the DM actually made you come up with the incantation portion for your spells and act them out once per sitting. It was one of the greatest things I've ever experienced in a tabletop. And when I was a kid, still to this day, I remember one of the first spell casting things I'd ever heard. Anal Nathrak Uthvas Bethu Dokiel Dienve. I will never forget that, and until the day I die. Like I say, I'm old. I will let you guys figure out what movie that came from. And actually, it was kind of funny because they brought it out of the depths of memory for a recent game, or a recent movie actually, that played on 80s pop culture, where the original line came from. But yeah, I love the nuance of it, the flow of it. It's just always been one of those things that, as part of D&D, has drawn me to it. So I love seeing that little scene with Elminster. So let's go talk to Gale here real quick.
I have a lot on my mind.
An audience with Elminster is never less than memorable. I'd have hoped to introduce you to him in less dire circumstances. But those are hard to come by these days. The Doddering Act is merely an illusion, one he's most adept at maintaining. Elminster is the most formidable wizard in the realms, perhaps in existence. For Mystra to have sent him, the severity of her bidding could not be clearer, or weigh more heavily on me. Time seems so infinite when you're young. A month is an age. A year is a lifetime. It is a strange feeling to realize how little of it one might have left. Of course, we offer the clearest solution to our problem. All I have to do is find the right place and time, close my eyes, and let go. Then the slate will be clean. Wrongs will be righted, the absolute will be gone, and I along with it. I've no doubt she has the power to do so, but as for the permission, Ao would not look kindly on her meddling in mortal affairs. Divine intervention has a tendency to make things worse, not better. As for Elminster, he's saved the realms more times than legend can recount. But to take on a god is no easy feat, even for him. My orb is the best chance we have. And only I can wield it. If there was, I'm sure the goddess of magic and the greatest wizard who ever lived would have identified it. But alas, only one solution is offered. That remains ahead of us for now. The heart of the Absolute must be discovered before I can stop its beating. Let's save such certainty for the moment such a decision is upon us. We may feel differently once we know what we're truly up against.
Okay, so yeah, Gale now has
Lovely day this.
an end your honor mode button placed on the taskbar. Don't worry if you accidentally click it. There's a warning box that pops up that says, "Are you sure?" Basically, are you sure you want to end your honor mode run? Because that's all it does. It's a game over button for you. There are some rather interesting cutscenes that go along with it, depending upon when you use it in the game, but those are obviously best explored in a situation where you can reload a previous save, because it is a game over. So stay away from the Netherese or Blast button. You're not going to need it. And hey, welcome. Your ears must have been burning. I mentioned you during the intro when we were talking about Act 2. So let's quickly go around.
Up for debate?
I can't believe it's just a waste of a perfectly good cult that we could be controlling. And a waste of a perfectly good Gale, I suppose.
And listen to everybody's comments.
Just what I need.
Oh, was that Gale's granddad? Yeah, it doesn't ring a bell. But all right. Must have had something important to say to Gale if he came all this way. Good news, I hope. Whoa now, he's got a... Well, I guess that would explain a little, but... Mistra? I mean, this is a lot to take in. What's he going to do? Well, tell him to pick the right one. Well, better yet, I'll do it. Fucking wizards, man. They always need help picking the simple, obvious option. If Mistra can't think of another way to stop the Absolute than sacrificing Gale, she's no god worth worshipping. I'll say that to Gale in, you know, gentle terms.
Yeah, she is pretty good. Effing wizards, man.
Elminster. Even the Githyanki have heard tell of the Sage of Shadowdale. Some of his works have been translated to Tirsu. That doesn't mean his every word carries wisdom, however. Near as I can tell, Mistra demands Gale's faith, but holds no faith in him. Why else would she demand Gale sacrifice himself, and perhaps so many others? Does she not think he can destroy the Absolute with his own immense talents? Does she not know the mighty company that he keeps? Demanding Vlaakith may be, but she acts for the good of the Githyanki people. Mistress concerned only for herself. Bah. Perhaps he'd find forgiveness in a fiery death. But I can't help but wonder why he'd want it at all. Kalir's clutch held 36 eggs, more or less, though I've learned of creches that harbored 100. Humanoid. How I despise the term. Githyanki are quite superior to humans. Our biology slates state that Githyanki came to lay eggs after we escaped Illithid enslavement and took to the astral plane. It's an asexual process, a favorable change by any estimation. Hideous to imagine a life where I couldn't partake in the pleasures of sex without the looming threat of bearing children. Shukiani. Githyanki chosen by Vlaakith herself to bear young. The Queen assigns when and where they must lay, and how many eggs they must bear. The Shukiani pass their eggs in the material plane. In the astral, time barely passes. It is a meticulous process, carefully timed so that the eggs hatch at once. Go on then. My own Savage would never have threatened a youngling. A waste of time and energy. The pupils themselves culled the weak from their ranks. I myself felled 4 of my own classmates once Kalir had 100 times circled Tyrell. Of course. My people have no use for cowards. Every trainee that I slayed was either too weak to withstand the lessons, or was cocky enough to pick a fight they could never win. They underestimated me, so they paid the price. The Githyanki are only as powerful as their weakest warrior. Jaquith de Venzir, the termination of the frail, strengthens us.
Your mind connects with Lae'zel's, and together you envision the Githyanki disc.
Another part of the Orpheus tale. This one has been translated to Common. Fine. The Prince of the Comet, Part 2. The Prince of the Comet, Orpheus himself, led his honor guard into battle. Their red dragons bellowed with righteous anger, and the heavens erupted. The glorious prince cried to all who could hear him, "Praise be to my mother Gith, the queen of the one sky, sacrificed to the hells by the renegade Vlaakith." But the true heir, the Prince of the Comet, could not overcome Vlaakith's knights and their ill-gotten worms. Mighty Voss, Gestil Kithrak, lit the astral sky aflame. When the ash had cleared, beloved Orpheus was gone. True heir, glorious prince, there's no greater crime than to exalt the pretender called Orpheus. One couldn't, and one shouldn't. Do as you like. The loss is not so much mine as yours. You made it abundantly clear.
Okay, so there was a lot of lore there about the Githyanki, all of it based in Forgotten Realms lore.
I can't believe Mystra actually expects Gale to just sacrifice himself like that. Seems like a waste of a fine mind.
Okay, we'll talk to Halson here.
You wish to speak? I studied one up close. Closer than most would care to be to those things. A drow attacked me and I defended myself. Afterwards, I was able to examine the tadpole that emerged. Hideous, but fascinating. Like nothing else in nature, I'm glad to say. Hopefully. I've chosen a successor as first druid, Francesca of the High Forest. I sent a bird to summon her. Precisely. Who indeed? You do not know, and neither do any of the others. The Grove needs to move beyond the mistakes of the past. What it needs is an unknown quantity. An outsider who can enforce the Oakfather's teachings without bias. This is why I chose Francesca. She will restore simplicity and purity to the Grove in my absence. Contrary to how some think of us, we druids can play politics when necessary. Those illithid creatures threaten the natural order. It's my duty to do what I can to stop them. There's also the Shadow Curse. It's an affront and must be cleansed. I helped overthrow Ketheric Thorm and his Dark Justiciars years ago, but I failed to prevent him from unleashing darkness across the region before he was defeated. If I can join you and get close to Moonrise, perhaps I can lift this curse, just as you find a cure for your infection. Well, there's hardly anyone left to share the responsibility with. Few who witnessed the fall of Moonrise still draw breath. What Ketheric Thorm unleashed is not something that nature can undo by itself. I must do what I can. I studied the Shadow Curse for years, but to truly understand it and stop it, I must reach its source. Perhaps. But we'll need to get closer before I can put my theory into practice. Put it from your mind for now. Once we near the curse, then there will be more to be said. Miss it? Oh dear, no. It's a terrible burden. Takes you away from nature and forces you to deal with others' problems and personalities. Be wary of anyone who actually wants such a role, I say. Likely they don't understand it, or they have ill intent. I'm just glad to be out here amidst the Oakfather's creations. Everything in your mind has been destroyed from what I gathered. And from the path I see you on, you are doing well at picking up the pieces. I am here to be your ear as you bear your burdens, and the arms that protect you if you can shoulder them no more. I believe you when you tell me that your symptoms do not wholly align with the makings of the parasite. But until we remove it, I doubt we will be able to isolate the rest of your troubles. The Oakfather must have blessed you to make it this far. Or another eye above. If I had my fleet of druids and a month of hard research, perhaps I could help. But I'm no savant. For now, I can only guarantee a cure for ceremorphosis.
Okay, we need to get some of those out of the way, as they're just going to keep piling up, especially when we get into Act 2.
A shame my first brush with the famed Elminster couldn't be a tad more optimistic. Listen, I might invoke the Triad from time to time, appeal to Helm, but I'm no man of faith. Not like Gale. I don't know what drives a man to consider his own death, among countless others, to be an appropriate exchange for his goddess's forgiveness. To me, it all sounds like nonsense. The faith that matters most is that which you hold in yourself, in the ones that most matter to you. Big Bomb be damned. Gale's got everything he needs to defeat the Absolute already. Talent, nerve, and powerful allies at his side. I hope he'll come to see that.
Okay, let's go have one more conversation with Karlach real quick. I want to see if something's popped up here yet.
Copper for your thoughts.
Okay. So, quickly, while we're here, we've got trash bags. Astarion does not have a trash bag. So, let's quickly sort this, because I'm not going into Act 2. With all of this stuff. Okay. And I'm gonna, like I say, I'm gonna do a lot of this off stream. I just need to, since I wasn't able to do it because of this mandatory type of set of cutscenes. Sending all these to Karlach. You'll see why now that we get farther into this. Trash. Trash. Whoops. These were supposed to be sent to camp. And again, like we had mentioned previously about the Githyanki egg, for now, just leave it in her inventory. If you're using Lae'zel in your party and you want to lower her carry weight, then you can leave it in your camp chest. But for now, just leave it on her so you don't forget about it or forget where it is. Okay, most of this is again all trash. So that finally got Astarion up there. And again, I know, not the most engaging gameplay. For that, I do apologize. Because we are going to make some changes to our party makeup here, and I need to make sure that things are sorted before we get there. So through all of this, this is all trash. Trash, trash. Okay, through all of this, leave the candle. That should be it. Send that off to camp. Okay, and then Gale, I think, got 3 more spell scrolls. He did. Okay, and that will go to camp. So now, as far as our party makeup going into Act 2, it's fairly straightforward. I don't think there's anything unexpected out of it. We are going to have Karlach back in the party.
For your thoughts. You know I'm up for it, but your party's a little full.
And I'm going to leave Lae'zel back.
Let's talk.
And I'm going to have Shadowheart
These boots have seen everything.
in the party.
A private word would be nice.
You know, I've been catching myself smiling more lately. I think that's your fault. Your dance card is full. Lose a partner and there'll be room. Wonderful. I was beginning to feel a little left out.
Okay, and I'm going to leave Gale behind. So, out of this, we can quickly level up Karlach. And again, there's going to be a much more in-depth. At level 8, we are definitely going to be doing full respecs on everybody. But level 7 for Barbarian gets you Feral Instinct, which is really nice. It's basically the alert feat, except instead of +5 to initiative, it's +3. And this allows you to utilize other things instead of alert for that feat selection.
Shouldn't have wished to live in more interesting times.
Okay, and Karlach probably
Damn, it's good to be alive.
still has some garbage. Okay, and the raspberries are going to be useful for her coming up. So let's transfer any items back over to her. The Gloves of Belligerent Skies are going to go to Shadowheart, Broodmother's Revenge, the Ring of Flinging, and the Caustic Band go back over. The Disintegrating Nightwalkers go over. Giant Breaker or Herald. I think Herald is going to be fine. And let's move over some other things here. Okay, and she can keep the Grimskull Helm and the Adamantine Splint armor. I'm going to pull the Silver Sword of the Astral Plane as well. There may be some opportunities where we will want to shapeshift into a Githyanki to utilize that.
I wonder what the next move is.
And then Shadowheart here. Hey Andy, welcome. And you may see something in Shadowheart's inventory that we're going to be dealing with fairly quickly as well. So the Gloves of the Belligerent Skies are going to move over to her. We're going to start getting her set up in her Reverberation Radiating Orb build. That's going to be important for her going forward through this. So we're kind of getting that set up here as we collect the items. So for Shadowheart, we need to... And I hate having to grab that. I'm going to give her a trash bag. Karlach gets a trash bag. Astarion gets a trash bag, and I still have mine.
Someone there?
Nope, not that one. This one. Okay. Now I think we're ready to go for now. Let me just make sure. Okay. Yes. Alright, so this is going to be our party makeup. Heading into Act 2. Shadowheart is very important for that. One, because her questline has a significant advancement in Act 2, but she is immune to the lesser effects of the Shadow Curse. And we'll talk more about that when we get into that area. Karlach, we're bringing her back in not because we need to. She's really not needed again until well, I guess part of her is needed at least a little bit here in Act 2 for one interaction, which is going to be helpful to have her in. But for the rest, she's not really needed until Act 3. We're bringing her in because we're focusing more on her this time than we are Lae'zel. I know she's a fan favorite, and having her along, you know, is fan service for all of you. But having her with her Tavern Brawler throwing build is something that I haven't played through in a game, and I'd like to continue that as long as I can as we go. Astarion, again, one of our main damage dealers, as well as our utility person, and my Bard, of course, needs to be here. Did I put Shadowheart's idol in a trash bag? I very well might have. I did. Thank you, Lord Henry. No, there's no use for it in the game. It's just one of those... You can't... I mean, you get approval for it by giving it to her to begin with. But other than that, no, there's no use for it in the game. And I do have... Okay. I promise I'm done for now, messing around. So, we are going to leave camp here, and that's going to put us right back where we
We've
were.
had some close calls already. There could be even tougher days ahead.
Okay, now there are...
It might be all downhill from here.
There are two ways to...
Meaning things will start becoming easier for us? Or our situation will deteriorate from here?
Exactly.
So there are two ways into the Shadowlands. We know one of them because we already explored it and saw it. And the second one is here, and it's kind of ominously
What's in here?
set up with all of these dead animals. And that is this entrance to the Shadow Curse lands here. Now, entering the Shadow Curse lands does not lock you out of the other waypoints and things here in Act 1. You can still traverse back and forth from them. So don't feel that it's an ending to everything. It is, if you've gone in this way, then you came through the mountain pass, and obviously once you did that, it timed out a bunch of quests in Act 1, in which we've already seen that happen before. But if you've gotten to this point, going into the Shadow Curse lands doesn't keep you from coming back here to Act 1. So instead, I am going to go to the Underdark, to the Grimforge, and I'm going to enter that way. I'll kind of explain the two different ways and the impacts you have of going in the two different ways once we're here. But as soon as I do this and I move outside of the mountain pass, I'm going to immediately get sent to camp. Okay, and this isn't necessarily a bad thing. There's a reason for it, though.
Always at your side.
I am Vlaakith's most loyal servant. She will not abandon me.
Okay, so we're just going to quickly go through and have our long rest conversations.
Well, my day just improved. Did you want something?
Copper for your thoughts?
Shouldn't be a whole lot, if anything, here.
What can I do for you, my friend?
Go ahead. I'm listening. She expects those who seek to use the weave to do so honestly, and with respect for its potential to destroy, as well as its potential to save. I doubt she's asked many of her followers to blow themselves up. That's a fate she's bequeathed exclusively to me. She wouldn't ask such a thing if it weren't our only means of survival. However much she's annoyed at me. Oh, you know me, ever the optimist. I'm trying to focus on the positives. Truth is, I was living on borrowed time already. Consuming those items would only have kept the orb sated for so long. If anything, I feel more at peace than I have in months. At least now I know my death will have purpose. It won't be a distant bang in the footnotes of history.
Well met.
Okay. So let's go ahead and take a long rest here. We needed to do it anyway, so this is not unexpected. There's just no reason to go through a long rest and then get locked into this long rest as well. Because of this.
Tila Vlaakith, has our queen sent a knight to slay me with his own blade?
Such informality, child. Does Justill Kithrak not command your respect?
Your blade speaks for you, Kithrak. You've come for blood.
Child of Gith, I've not come to kill you. I've come to aid you.
Don't trust him.
Notice the blade?
Skakek Kia Gith Shabeleth. My blade rests. Mother Gith compels you to listen.
That is not the silver sword of the astral plane, because Lae'zel has that, well now Karlach is carrying it. So even though his blade is missing because of the cheese that we did in Act 1, the game knows that, and knows that this cutscene needs him to have a weapon to be able to do this cutscene. So it gives him a longsword to have, to use as part, or a greatsword, I mean, as part of this cutscene. So it's kind of impressive how some of the coding behind the scenes works.
Speak. My ear is yours.
I know you carry the astral prism, Lae'zel. Within it lies the seed of Vlaakith's demise, and I intend to help you bring it to fruition.
Vlaakith's demise? Skaketh. I should run you through for suggesting it.
If they have not said, they must have good reason, and I won't be the one to betray them. But the one inside's chosen you as an ally, protects you with their power. That very power will be the end of Vlaakith's tyranny. The Prism's tenant must be let loose. I've sought their freedom for eons. When the Prism went missing, I feared the worst. Instead, you've granted the opportunity I've so long awaited. All that remains is the key that unchains them. And I've found someone who I believe can provide it. Bring the Prism to Baldur's Gate. I'll be waiting in a taproom called Sharess's Caress. That is where we decide the fate of my people. Lae'zel, together we will break our chains and be Vlaakith's slaves no longer.
I am no slave, just still Kithrak. The Undying Queen is my freedom. It is she who will purify me, and she who will ascend me.
Lies, Lae'zel, every last one. There is no purification, no ascension. The Zaith-Isk does not purify, it extracts memory and kills the infected. Nor does the Lich Queen glorify the ascended. She feeds on most all of them to grow her power and pursue godhood.
Madness. You flood me with this heresy. I will hear no more of it. I served Vlaakith the whole of my life. Learned her words, fought her battles, yet she names me her Sharlak. Your words carry truth. I will meet you in Baldur's Gate. Do not make me regret it.
Lae'zel, I see Talak Magir in you, sister in freedom. Together we will be our people's light. Take this. It is a Quanith, a psionic detector. The Queen's warriors hunt you. The Quanith will sound you out when you come near their portals. Hear its cry and prepare for battle or slip away. I should go. Vlaakith's gaze pierces the seas and skies. She believes me loyal, and I can't afford her mistrust. Keep the astral prism close. Let no one take it from you. Slay any who try. Now to Baldur's Gate. I'll be waiting, Lae'zel.
Okay, so let's go speak with Lae'zel again.
Vlakith Kosivim Hrath Crashhead. Only in Vlakith may we find light. These were the first words I ever read on Tirsu's slate. But they are no mere aphorism. They are law. They are creed. The root from which the 10,000 protocols stem. Forsake one protocol, and forsake Vlakith. Forsake Vlakith, and be the blood and meat which sates her dragons. If Voss speaks true, if Ascension is a lie, if tadpole purification is a fairy tale, then I have not sinned against Vlakith. She has sinned against me. Ascension is a young Githyanki's greatest honor. Long ago, the Geich enslaved my people. They dominated our minds and bred us for war, until Great Mother Gith took a hammer to our bonds. From the day of our hatching, young Gith have one purpose: to train hard enough to slay a Geich and take its head. Then, we speak the rite of Ascension, and a red dragon comes to fly us to Vlakith, in Tunarath, City of Death. We are honored with an eternal home in the Astral, celebrated for our victory. We are ascended. Or so I believed. I'd never thought Vlakith a tyrant, or me as a vassal. She was the source of my might, and I the envoy of her will. A warrior, a champion, a destroyer. But if Voss is right, and Vlakith consumes the Ascended to gain power, then I am no destroyer. I am mere livestock, bred to be harvested and devoured. Every Githyanki is a slave with a singular purpose. Not to cull the Geich, not to prevent their grand design, but to raise Vlakith to true godhood. I don't know. I can't know. And that drives me mad. At first, I thought them an illithid deception, a trick of the tadpole. But the dream figure is real. It lives in the prism. Voss believes they are the seed of Vlakith's demise and the agent of Githyanki freedom. And I believe he may be right. Then, when the Kithraki come for me, and come they will, I will submit to their blades. They would feed me to their dragons, and I would deserve no better. Yes, I'd like time to think. We'll meet Kithrak Voss at Chares's Caress in Baldur's Gate. Until then, be vigilant. Vlakith's eyes are upon us.
Okay, so I don't know if anyone else has any words about...
I didn't expect Lae'zel to turn on the Lich Queen so readily. Wonders never cease.
Okay, so there might be just a little bit of comment from the other people.
So we're going to meet Voss in the city, are we? Set the tenant of the prism free? This is all very, I don't know. I like a good caper, but I'd long for a tiny bit of status quo now and again.
So, Lae'zel's going to war with Vlakith? Going to break her chains in Baldur's Gate? Good for her.
Okay, so it's just our party members that get that cutscene. Now there is one more thing here, and like I say, I told you there was going to be some cleanup here as we get ready to go into Act 2, because there's a bunch of things that happen here. And the last one Is this. So let me make sure. Okay, so my performance is +7. We have 4 inspirations. I'm getting +1 from Fowler Alluve, so I think I'm okay. And that is because, again, of what I told you was in Shadowheart's inventory. The Necromancy of Thay. Shadowheart's been carrying it around. We are not going to have Shadowheart read it, though. Some classes get different checks while reading the Necromancy of Thay. Normally, you have 3 Wisdom saving throws. A DC 10, a DC 15, and a DC 20. So if you're doing Wisdom saving throws, again, you're doing very much like what we did setting up for the Zaith'isk, where you're buffing things to try and get a saving throw boost for your character. However, bards can make performance checks instead of wisdom saving throws. Sorcerers can make charisma checks, but that's based solely on the charisma stat. So arguably, bards have the easiest way of reading the Necromancy of Thay because the DCs are 5, 10, and 15 instead of DCs 10, 15, and 20. And instead of being saving throws, they are ability checks. And you have a lot more things available to you to help you with that type of check. Now, one of them is enhance ability, and I'm out of spell slots for that, and I don't know if Shadowheart, because we're in camp, if Shadowheart is going to be able to help with this or not. But I'm going to put enhance ability on her just in case, because I cannot cast both guidance and enhance ability on from the same character. I would need 2 different characters to do it. So if it's going to realize that Shadowheart is in my party and she's near me, maybe it will let Shadowheart cast enhance ability. Otherwise, I'm just going to cast guidance on myself. I have Mark of the Shifter to go along with it. And then I could cast Bless as well through the Staff of Arcane Blessing. Let me see if that charge is still there. It's not. It still needs its long rest. It's out from when we used it previously. So I don't necessarily, with 4 inspirations, I don't think I'm going to have an issue doing this one way or another. So, and remember, the Fowler Alluve melody is for saving throws, not for checks. So let's go ahead and have my bard read it.
The book is locked tight with no visible keyhole, only an oval recess in the cover's mouth. You try to examine the book, but the longer you stare, the more those piercing amethyst eyes draw you in.
Curious. Why don't you take a closer look? I'll observe from back here.
Please don't open the creepy book.
That That looks terribly heavy. Why don't you let me carry it for you?
Historian has a special dialogue option if you give it to him and have him do it. Where the final check, instead of a DC 20 wisdom saving throw, will be a DC 15 wisdom ability check instead. But again, with a performance check here, for me, it's better than his wisdom check would be. Okay, so here's your option to give it to Astarion. I'm going to go ahead and open the book.
The book's pull is irresistible. You feel changed, bettered for having opened it. Suddenly you are capable of anything. Felling mountains, darkening suns, conversing with the dead. Glyphs shift gently before your eyes. Words slip into your mind, onto your lips, forming words you don't understand. And something is trying to reply.
Okay, and here's the performance check. So again, you can see we're getting a lot of bonuses here that on a saving throw we would not be getting. We're getting our +3 from charisma and our +3 from performance proficiency. And we can stack on guidance as opposed to resistance or something like that. Warlocks get to make a saving throw on this first one, and it's a charisma saving throw with a DC of 5. So either one of these, the only way I can fail it is with a nat 1 here. So it doesn't matter which way I go, since the DC for both performance and the saving throw here are both 5 on the first roll.
The glyphs swarm impatiently. The book wants you to turn the page, to delve deeper. It's hungry.
Okay, so again, saving throw, but we have Bard performance. And now here with a DC of 10, I'm going to start adding in other things. And good, Shadowheart is here, so I can get advantage on my next one. Again, the only way I could have failed that there is a nat 1.
The glyphs seem to burn your inner eye, outraged at your denial. Within the pages, you feel a feral thrashing. Living magic, driven mad by what it was used for. Necromancy. The magical energies of all living things were stolen, corrupted, and sealed in this vile book. It wants someone to share in its insanity.
And now here is our last performance check. Okay, so either a DC 20 saving throw, which no one wants to deal with, or a DC 15 performance check where we can add all this in. And I'm going to add in advantage on this roll. So now I need a 6 at a minimum out of 2 dice rolls here to get it. And the reason I'm doing it before I click the long rest is because Shadowheart's going to get this spell slot back when we take the long rest. Didn't even need it.
Your limerick spinal line pierces something within the book's roiling, vengeful magic. The voices falter, the anger quells. The magic seems to grow still and quiet, like a soothed beast. Nothing. Just old parchment covered in arcane symbols. The magic sleeps. The heavy cover thumps shut with a strange finality.
Okay, and now because of that, we've gained a new ability. We've gained the ability to speak with the dead. This is a once per long rest ritual, so you kind of start it up the first time and then it stays active with you throughout the entire time. We have it right now because we had cast it previously with the Amulet of Lost Voices, but now we no longer need to keep that on us. And might have... Okay, so for Astarion, before we leave, we need to get him set up to go into Act 2. Now, there are very few things that are going to be using armor and weapons, metal armor and weapons, while you're just out in the Shadowlands. So we're going to change things over here with him. And where were his... No. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so I think... Oh, and yeah, the ring. The fetish goes here. Okay. So I think we are now set up and ready to go. So let's go to sleep. And like I said, I knew there was going to be some housekeeping there, but I'd forgotten at the end of last week's episode that I was kind of locked into all of these cutscenes. Okay, so now we are going to head out to Act 2. And to do that, we are going to head to, like I said, the Grimforge. A player cannot... Oh yeah, Shadowheart doesn't have a shield on. Thank you, Lord Henry. We're almost there, I promise. Chat, I know. I apologize. Who can't... fast travel? Okay, we'll just leave camp then. And then we will fast travel. Okay. So here we are in the Grimforge. Let's get our buffs taken care of here. Okay.
How much
and we're going to head right over here.
Dead drow publicly displayed.
Okay, this wrought iron gate is what leads you up to the Shadowlands on the elevator. Now there is one more thing in Act 1 that I want to do. I just don't know if I'm going to show it on stream or not. And that is the Zentrum hideout. I could go in there and loot that place, including a pair of really crappy gloves. But I don't know if I'm going to show that on stream. I may just go in there and clear it out, kill everybody, and loot all the stuff to pick it up to sell it off stream. There's nothing really spectacular to show in there. So I'm kind of debating what to do with it. So there is a trunk down here, but first we're going to head up this side. Oh, and Astarian.
Keep a blade close.
Still alive, so that's progress.
So one shows an elevator leading from the wilds outside a town called Wraithwind to the Underdark. So that lets you know that we are near Wraithwind town. And right here is the Absolutist Expedition key.
Need to find
now that we've picked that up, we can head back down here.
We offer our pain to the Lady of Loss, that she may truly know her faithful.
Something good here, I hope.
Okay, and in here we have a couple of torches and some potions.
We offer ourselves to the darkness, that blessed Shah may give us her mercy.
So now you can kind of tell, if you haven't gathered already from the architecture, that this is a Sharan stronghold here that we are in. And give me 30 seconds, chat. I'll be right back. I apologize. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. So now we're going to head this way. And in here, you're going to see a broken Moonlantern on the table. Now, this is marked as a quest item. There's a reason for that, but there's nothing that you can do with it right now. And here, we're going to pop out, speak with the dead. Even if it doesn't work, it gets it activated.
The corpse does not respond.
So now it's always active, and we'll see the characters outlined in green who we can talk to. And I forgot to do that. So here you can see what was happening. True Soul Near had gone in this way from the Shadowlands, from Moonrise, was trying to find a way to the Grim Porch. And that's where this body originated from. And before I go in there, I need to remove some stuff from Gale. Okay, it really was that. I just want to make sure there's nothing else. Oh. Sorry. Thanks, David. I appreciate it. I clicked on the wrong button. Thank you very much.
What now?
Okay.
Nothing hurts anymore.
Needed to get all the scrolls so that we have access to them here. And now we're going to exit to the Shadow Curse lands.
Those shadows. There's power coursing through them. Oddly familiar. Better stay on alert.
I've
Okay,
never
so-
seen darkness like this before. It's unsettling.
So,
Yes, it's the only path to Moonrise Towers. We have to push into the dark.
can I speak now, please? Okay, thank you. So there are more torches over here. And there's a couple of things that we want to do. Oh geez, did I leave it? Who did I leave it on? Do I have it? And I just didn't see it? Oh, Karlak has it. Okay, yes, there it is. Okay, so we need to have light sources here. And there are a few ways to accomplish that. Shadowheart does not need a light source. She is immune to the lesser effects of the Shadow Curse. So she does not have to carry a torch with her, which is nice because then she doesn't have to change out of it to attack or anything like that. She's just free of it. Astarion I'm going to have him carry it for now. It counts as a light source, you can see. So he is now free of it. Karlak, if she's carrying a torch, remember I throw the returning pike. So I can throw that from my inventory, and then it's going to replace the torch when it comes back. If she's in a spot that's not lit up, she will then become subjected to the Shadow Curse, but that first attack is not wasted with her. The last thing is me, and for me, I'm going to be carrying it for now, but I'm going to be changing out of it kind of as we go, because the torches have a pretty large radius, and if you keep your party together, one torch will actually cover everybody like this. Okay, so you don't need to have everybody with torches like this. You only really need one at the front and one at the back if you don't have anybody, and everybody else should be covered. But I know kind of what's coming, so I'm going to be prepped for these things as we kind of go through here. Now, just to quickly orient where we are, okay, we're in the upper right-hand corner of the map. Moonrise Towers is all the way down here. Coming in through the mountain pass puts you down here. And it's a more direct route to Moonrise Towers. This is traditionally the more direct route to the Last Light Inn, which is over here. The reason that I'm coming this way, though, is not because of the Last Light Inn. We actually want to make our way to Moonrise Towers before we go to the Last Light Inn. There's a reason for that, in that I want to have an encounter down here-ish with a group that you would normally find right when you enter from the mountain pass. If you enter from the mountain pass, you can have a conversation with them. However, there's no way in that conversation to make them give you something. You have to follow them. You get into a fight down here, and then sometimes you are presented with an opportunity to make them give you something. Otherwise, they won't. They will take it back to Last Light Inn, and you have to go talk to somebody specific at the Last Light Inn to get it. And that conversation is very, very problematic for an honor mode run. So what I want to do is make my way down here to this encounter without having a fight triggered, convince them to give me what I need, and then I'll be free to wander anywhere I want. And I can go back to the Last Light Inn, or I can go to Moonrise Towers, which is what we're going to end up doing. So let's kind of make our way through here, and we'll kind of talk about the Shadow Curse as we go. So you can kind of see where it starts and when it ends. So crossing into this area here, we are now going to be subjected to the Shadow Curse. So if you don't
feel the shadow's power here, but they don't seem to be harming me.
The Shadow Curse. It doesn't seem to affect me like it does others. Not as badly, at least. Do you know what this means? I must be blessed. Lady Shah is protecting me where others are left to face her wrath. She loves me. She must do. Lady Shah wouldn't bless me like this for no reason. There must be something she wants of me. Those signs we found about Dark Justiciars, perhaps they were no coincidence. In either case, I need to watch for any place dedicated to Lady Shah. A temple, perhaps.
And that's why it's important to have her along. She's just immune to this portion of the Shadow Curse. So she does not need to carry a torch through any of this. So we're going to do a little exploring as we move through this. And then we're going to get into a fight. And we're going to learn more about the Shadow Curse when we get into it. So let's quickly... We now have infiltrate Moonrise Towers as part of the main quest. After talking to Voss, we've unlocked 2 new quest lines here about Orpheus inside of the Astral Prism. We are not going to give Esther the egg. There are bad things that happen when you do. And now that we've read the Necromancy of Thay, we have 2 options. Either unlock it or destroy it. We're going to unlock it, but that won't happen until Act 3. Shadowheart now realizes that there must be a temple around here somewhere, and there's a big section of her personal quest line that's going to happen here in Act 2. So we've entered the Shadow Curse lands, and we need to find Dammon to help Karlach with her heart. Again, this is more following up with Kithrak Voss in Baldur's Gate, and the Wizard of Waterdeep. We now have a way for Gale to commit suicide, and we've completed the Travel to Moonrise section of the quest line, so that should get us all caught up here. Let's head back up this way.
Let's have a look.
Still wish there was a use for rope in this game.
Heavy.
That's curious.
Here goes nothing.
Okay, so an elixir of fire resistance. Decent potion. And now here is the Dead Druid's Journal. Now before this,
There is work to do.
it might be on somebody else. Oh, and I don't have the necklace here I should have. Okay, well, it's not that big a deal. We're gonna have Shadowheart cast Guidance.
Alright.
My card and the Warped Headband of Intellect, I believe. Yes.
Cursed to put my hands on everything.
Okay, and you learn about the druids here and what the Shadow Curse does.
Something to do with the Shadow Curse.
And I failed the nature check.
I truly hope this blight isn't spreading.
So it's a DC 18, so it's not an easy one to pass, but with my proficiencies and everything, I expected a little more than rolling a 7. But it just gives you some more information about the Shadow Curse. There's nothing really special about it or anything like that.
Trust no one.
Okay, so we'll continue searching here.
Watch your back.
Don't forget the shadow root sacks. They're around here. They're full of crafting ingredients. Okay, and now the only way that we can make our way out of here is down here across this bridge. Now from here you have several different ways that you can progress.
Let's get going. Very well.
The Shadow's hunger is endless, it seems.
Okay, so you have a route down this way, which is where we are going to go, toward the Harpers down here. And when we do this, we're going to trigger a cutscene and a fight. So what I'm going to do is break my group.
Stealth mode activated.
I'm gonna put Karlach up here on the high ground. Everybody else.
No time to rest?
Actually, I'm gonna leave. No, everybody else can come with me.
At the ready.
Stay together. Keep to the light. Stop! Who's there? First, come closer. Hands up.
Jonas, look out!
Jonas? Can you see our torches?
I can't see anything! Something's wrong.
Follow my voice. Come back to the light.
Who's there? Meg? Is that?
Jonas?
There you are. Come. Join me.
Jonas.
Harpers! To arms!
Okay, so initiative is rolled here, and you're not going to be able to stay out of this one way or another by moving anybody up here. The detection cones actually cover all of this. They're a little messed up, like I say, you can kind of see. So I knew Karlach was going to come into the fight. I wanted her on high ground to get the height advantage for throwing down here. So now for myself, there's a couple of things to do here and ways to propagate this fight. Now I can fight without the use of my weapon here. If I swap to my main weapon, it's going to cost me an action to do it. And if I change to my main weapon, I lose that light source. And if I'm not standing near somebody else with a torch, I can be subjected to the Shadow Curse. There is another thing that you can do here, though. Okay, so I'm gonna light up the brazier. And now I can fight within range of the brazier, and I'm fine. Okay, so looking at the shadows here, we are immune to necrotic and poison damage. We are vulnerable to radiant damage, though, and you are going to find that is the case with most of the undead here in the Shadowlands. There are some exceptions to that. Jonas, if you've been taken over as a shadow cursed entity, you don't automatically gain that that vulnerability. It's really the shadows themselves, and those type that have that vulnerability to them. They also have sunlight weakness, so while they're in sunlight, the creature has disadvantage on attack rolls and saving throws, which means that using the sunlight spell from Shadowheart, or something like that, can be very, very useful as you go through this. So I'm not going to bother to bring out Hex. I probably could. He's resistant to necrotic, so it would add a little bit to Harper Jonas. Most things in here are going to be resistant to necrotic damage, but Hex here gets me something else. It gets me 8 additional hit points from concentrating on a spell. Okay. So now I'm going to let Shadowheart, and because this Shadow is... Ooh, this is coming up before Karlach, though. I wasn't going to do this. So the Blood of Lathander has a byproduct in that Lathander's light, fiends and undead standing in the light are blinded unless they succeed a Constitution saving throw. So it comes with that benefit to it. However, I don't think that's going to matter all that much here. I think they're probably immune to topple, but I just want Flurry of Blows to get out here. So now I'm invisible, and I'm going to start making my way down here. Come on, Astarion. And Karlach again is going to throw items from up top. Now she's going to be subjected to the Shadow Curse until we get Shadowheart into the mix.
Soldier.
So for here, if we throw at Harper Jonas.
Easy.
Okay. So now see, she is subjected to the Shadow Curse. So without a light source, she's going to take necrotic damage every turn. Okay, and if she dies, she's going to turn into a Shadow Cursed undead. How much? 2 hit points left. Nice. There is a brazier here, which can prevent that. Just don't stray too far from it.
Shit.
Thank you for getting rid of him.
Make every strike count.
Oh. Okay. So now here with Shadowheart again.
Can I go?
Okay, we have a few options to deal with. Here, Spirit Guardians is just overpowered in Act 2. You really need to kind of prioritize it for when you're going to use it, because right now it doesn't do me any good because I'm not within range of anybody. So I'm going to look at other things to deal ranged radiant damage, and that's with a guiding bolt. Now I want to get rid of one of these two. Who's first? So this one's next in initiative order. I'm just trying to plan this out because I want to try and keep the Harpers alive. You don't have to, but I would like to. So I'm going to focus on getting rid of one of these two. Okay, so again, the shadows are immune to necrotic damage from Hex, so there's no point in me even reapplying it here. So my standing armor class is 25. I don't need to improve that anymore. So let's just start focusing on them. This would get the one right after Karlach. I think I'll provoke the attack of opportunity here. Oh, jeez, come on. He's going to be immune to being knocked prone, I think. Yep. Did you roll? Now, can't argue with a 19. Get rid of this one. Be quick. Trigger invisibility again.
Fuck yes.
Now Karlach can go, and she has her enraged throw ability now. Trees in the way. He's in the Shadow Curse, but we can move her back into it. Perfect. I can't hit here.
My little trick.
Again, that high ground damage is so useful here. And now we'll move her back. Get rid of the Shadow Curse. Let's see what... Oh, wow. Oh, wow, okay. Well, I need to change that. I will definitely be doing that off stream to get the Sacred Flame cantrip back on Shadowheart.
No mercy.
Well done. Now we've got to move. I know a safe place. Give me your map. Keep your torch high. If you step into the shadows, you'll be felled in a heartbeat. That's right. Protected by magic. Only spot in the region that's not been swallowed up by this damn curse. Light will save you here on the outskirts, but a few paces deeper you're screwed. If you want to catch your breath, the inn's the only place to do it. Hope to see you there. Harpers, move out!
Now, you can follow the Harpers to the Last Light Inn. Okay? We're not going to.
All's well that ends not as bad as it could have.
Actually, I needed to go back up here and search a few things.
That'll fit in my pack.
And there's an unsent letter here. You start to learn a little bit about what's happening here and how that relates to friends and family that they have in Baldur's Gate. The shadow vestiges you can click on, but there's nothing in them or nothing to be searched. Okay, now that we've picked up a night orchid.
This place. There's a power in these shadows. I can sense it. It's ancient. Familiar.
It opens up a new dialogue option with Shadowheart.
Rings a bell? Why? Oh, hells. You didn't pick that by hand, did you? They're deadly poisonous. Joking. They're safe. And beautiful. Thank you. I don't have anything to give you in return, I'm afraid. We'll see. Give me a while to put my imagination to work.
Okay, and head back in here and we can pick up all of these torches.
A little souvenir.
And we can search Harper Jonas. Okay, now we're going to explore a little bit up toward this direction. Now, if you're interested in orienting yourself, this bridge right here leads you to the Last Light Inn. Okay, so like I say, this is traditionally the way that you enter here to make your way to the Last Light Inn by heading down this way, past here, and toward that bridge. We're going to head down that way because we're not going to explore too much up this direction. But we're not going to go to the Last Light Inn first. There's something we want to do here.
Hardly a challenge.
Okay, and now as you start to get up in this direction, you're going to be confronted with enemies. Okay, and again, we don't want to explore too far up here. As we go, because again, like I said, we don't want to trigger this yet, and we don't want to head farther up this direction either. So we're just kind of exploring what we can here at the start of this.
What a mess. It's half grave, half animal burrow.
Ellie May. You've seen this name before.
Okay, so we're going to start making our way down here, and again, we're not going to go too far through all of this. I don't want to get into any major fights until I am protected from the Shadow Curse. And there is a way that we can do that. Okay, now up here on top, we have an opportunity to speak with the dead, because there are some dead Harpers up here.
What to do?
The corpse regards you lifelessly.
Scouting, seeking, gaps in cultist defenses. Last light, Isabel. Caravan to Moonrise Towers. Know how to keep the shadows at bay. Last light in. Sanctuary from darkness. Stronghold. The forest, no escape. The darkness turns all, twists all.
The spell's power wanes. You can ask no more questions.
Okay, so we learned some very valuable information there. We learned about Isabel. Isabel is at the Last Light Inn, and she can supposedly protect us from the Shadow Curse. That's not entirely true. The Isabel can offer a protection against the lesser effects of the Shadow Curse, which means everything running down the middle of this is the River Keonthar. Everything to the east of the River Keonthar, for the most part. There are a couple of small spots way down here to the south that's not the case. Everything to the east of the River Keonthar, that ward is going to protect you from the shadows. Everything to the west of it, you are not going to be protected. So it's a very limited use, and the conversation with Isabel, like I mentioned earlier, leads you into a fight with somebody named Marcus, and your playthrough has a really high chance of going very, very badly. And that's why we don't want to have a conversation with Isabel, because of the outcomes that are possible because of that. So we're going to find a different way to protect ourselves from the Shadow Curse, and it's not going to involve... Why did I...
Let's move.
Oh. That's why. And it's not going to involve us... why is Astarion in the Shadow Curse? That was weird. The Light of Lassandra may be bugged on ladders or something like that. So, again, as we start to progress down here, we're trying to get to a specific location, and we're going to actually head down this way toward that bridge here in a second. Okay, and right here is a shadow-cursed needle blight, and we don't want to have anything to do with those. That's why I said we don't want to explore too far up this direction yet. There's another one here. Because again, any combats that we're going to get into, I'm going to be sacrificing action economy to get rid of the torches. And I don't want to do that. So now you can see kind of where we are in relationship to the fight that we just had.
I'll just help myself.
Well, welcome to the stream. Like I say, everyone's entitled to their opinions, and I certainly won't begrudge anyone their comments about my playstyles. I hope that something in the playthrough does help you out or change your opinion, but if it doesn't, then, like I say, there are plenty of good content creators out there to go take a look at. But thank you for being here. And now, down here, we have a raven. Before you interact with the raven, you want to have everybody kind of grouped up.
That dead bird's been corrupted by the shadows. Would be wise to leave it alone.
It would be wise to leave it alone, but we don't necessarily have to.
Never a dull moment.
No time to dally.
Don't burn yourself.
We're going to group everybody up around this.
A long way to go still.
And here we're going to have Shadowheart cast Spirit Guardians. As soon as she does, I'm going to change to my Bard and interact with the Raven. And we're going to get surprised. Okay? Now we have two members of our party who have the alert feat in one way or another. Karlak and myself. So we could take an action round here, but otherwise you're going to be in a fight and you're all surprised. So all the ravens are going to get to act first. Now there's nothing really special about them, except that they do have the ability to blind you, and they are going to gain advantage on their attack rolls because there's so many of them. So they can cause a bit of damage while you're waiting for that surprise round to end. But thankfully for us, we don't have to worry about it.
Alright, Karlak, it's go time.
And that's why we don't have to worry about it. is because they all have only 1 hit point, so as soon as they get within range of Spirit Guardians, they're all done.
Don't touch me.
So you can search the ravens. None of them have anything, though. Not even the... There is a letter here on the first one that talks about darkness rolling into Wraithwind Town. And that's the shadow curse that we're seeing here in effect. So traveler's chest here. Gonna move out here, jump up here to the roof. Couple of charming little eggs, which are camp supplies, and another traveler's chest.
For a skeleton key.
Oof, avoided our first nat 1. Okay, and again, like I say, you can search the ravens, but none of them have anything on them. Now, making our way down here, here again is the bridge, heading over to Last Light. We are not going to head over there, though. Okay, we're going to make our way around a little bit. And explore while we do. So again, moving up toward this direction, we don't want to get too far over here into this, because this is where the shambling mound is, up here. So again, trying not to move too far into any of those locations where we're going to get into unintended fights. We'll come back and explore all of that stuff later. Because where we are going is right over here. Okay, so you can kind of see the way that we have to go. We can cross here and get into the back way here. Down here are... And we recognize a couple of these names, Icaron and Kaldani, from the Grove. So these are some of the tieflings that got ambushed on their way by cultists.
At least things have stayed interesting.
What's in here?
We're just going to loot the area here quick. Memnos, we also recognize that name. But they were all there.
What's this?
Okay, so Astarians finally become encumbered.
I have such a headache.
And here I'm going to switch to my bard, and we're going to make our way over here.
Have I been this way before?
And again, this is the building we're trying to make it to. We want to go this way here. And before we do it, we want to make sure that we have a way to cast guidance on ourselves just in case it does not just in case it does not allow us to bring Shadowheart in as checks. And we're also going to stay within range of everybody here and equip Valar Louv. And hopefully Karlak keeps up. So I'm going to move a little bit slower here, just to make sure that I'm still near a light source, because right now I'm not protected from the shadow curse. And I'm going to make my way into the back door here. Okay, and we're going to make our way up here. And when we do, we're going to trigger a cutscene.
More to your church every day, my queen. Your followers are legion. Your faithful stand ready, Majesty. Soon we march. Soon the world will bow to you.
Here, web ass. Something moved up there. Want me to drag it out?
Okay, I'm gonna step out.
What's this?
The Drider's eyes cut through the darkness, locking on you as your parasite squirms with excitement. Your minds connect, and you hear a voice whispering to you. The Absolute, or just the echoes of his fractured mind reverberating in the darkness.
One of your true souls, my queen. How have they survived?
Okay, and you have some options here on how you want to play this out. I'm going to choose the Bard option, or not the Bard option down here per se, but the way to go about this encounter as a Bard. We're going to encounter Karnas later on, the way that I plan on doing this. So right now I'm going to say the Absolute protected me.
You bless them too, my queen. Where is their lantern?
Okay, and now here we have a Bard option for a deception check to have Karnas give us his lantern. And I'm going to have advantage on this just because of being a Bard. Okay, and it's a 14 DC. So Shadowheart is with us here, which is good. So I'm going to let her cast Guidance. And I should have put Mark of the Shifter on when I came into this.
Majesty, is this true? Did I not serve you well? Very well. If it is your will, you can have it!
What do you mean, go?
We can't go without you. The shadows will tear us to pieces. This is not Her Majesty's will.
Okay, so now I have another deception option here. I'm losing favorable beginnings on that. I have an intimidation option though, however, which I have proficiency and expertise in. Now I can add advantage onto this. I have a 10 to 13, and we do have four inspiration, so I'm just going to roll it here.
If it is Her Majesty's will.
You can't be serious. You know what's out there.
If it is Her Majesty's will, then we shall walk! She will protect us. She must.
As the sounds fade, there is nothing left but cold, still silence.
Okay, so now you can see laying on the ground is a moon lantern here. And before we go any further, I'm gonna swap this back out. And I'm going to pick up the moon
Always
lantern.
room for more.
The lantern gives off a chilly glow, protecting all in its vicinity from the surrounding shadows. You notice a tiny pixie trapped within. These Thay creatures are infamous for their trickery. Sometimes playful, sometimes malicious.
Oh please, oh golly me, oh my! You must release me or I'll die. This lantern only lights the way when I am hurting night and day. My name is Dolly Thrice. Now won't you free me from this vice? It would be my pleasure, truly. Once I'm freed, I'll help you duly.
Okay, now this moon lantern is special. This is not the same as any of the other moon lanterns. Now you can get other moon lanterns. If you go to Moonrise, you can get a moon lantern there that will help you survive the darkest parts of the Shadow Curse. However, those moon lanterns do not have a pixie inside of them. This is the only one in the game that does, and that's why I made my way down here. If you enter through the mountain pass, you will enter very close to where that convoy is. And like I said earlier, you will have an encounter with them. You pass right by them, and you will go into a dialogue conversation with them, where you can summon Karnas using the spider lyre that you got from looting Minthara. When you do that, Karnas will show up and they will lead you as part of a convoy down to the same location, except when you get here, you're going to be ambushed by Harpers. You'll have a choice to either side with the Harpers or side with Karnas. If you side with the Harpers, then you're going to get in a fight with Karnas. At the end of it, the Harpers will take the lantern and they will give it to Isabel. So the only way to get the Pixie's blessing is to go talk to Isabel, which we want to avoid doing. If you side with Karnas, then you can kill the Harpers, which there's not a whole lot of a downside to. But if you do it, then you can follow the convoy to Moonrise, but then you don't have access to the the Pixie's blessing because Karnas is still alive and he's going to keep his moon lantern. And like I said, the other moon lanterns don't do the same thing that this one does. So then at least one of your party is carrying around the moon lantern to keep you safe from the Shadow Curse. And again, you sacrifice action economy to unequip it and equip an item if you get into a fight. So we don't want to have to do that. We wanted to come directly here and have this conversation, which for a bard is fairly easy and straightforward, to convince him to give me his moon lantern. Now we're going to meet him again because he's been taken by the Shadow Curse, and we're going to see them again as we approach Moonrise.
Finally! Been trapped in that coffin with no one but a Mad Rider and my own farts for company. Did me a good turn there, didn't you? What do I owe you?
Now here we have a Dark Urge option. We don't want to do that though.
Sure I can, but will I? Yeah, sure, why not? Here, give this bell a shake. Speak the magic words and you'll get what you've earned. Protection from the shadow curse. What more could a dingus want? You're welcome.
Okay, and that gets you the filigreed Feywild Bell. Now this, you can use this at any time to give you the Pixie's Blessing. Okay, so if you swap characters out in your party and that sort of stuff, you can reuse it to gain the Pixie's Blessing. It normally comes back, or it's always there through a long rest. But again, they give you the bell so that you can reapply it. So now I don't have to carry torches or anything like that anymore. As I'm making my way through the Shadowlands. Okay, and I am protected, moreover, not just from the small curse, the lesser curse on this side, but also the greater curses on the far side as well. So this is why I made a beeline here, and I came in the way I did, is to avoid, this is the easiest way to get the Pixie's Blessing when you come into the Shadowlands. And now I'm free to go wherever I want here, without fear of the Shadow Curse at all. And that's an important thing, that freedom to keep your action economy through your fights is very, very important. Okay. Now we're going to continue on towards Moonrise, and that means that we're going to actually make our way. You can just barely see it. There's another section down here that we want to go. We're going to have an encounter down there. Okay, but we want to quickly
Soldier.
Take Karlach through here.
Soldier.
And search the house.
What's this?
Because there are a few things that we can pick up in here, again, that we're eventually going to be selling, for the most part.
And?
You can see the key that keeps popping up every once in a while. We'll see more about that here in a second.
Careful, I might. Simple.
Actually, you know, we'll exit out of that for now.
Yes, let's.
There it is. Couldn't remember where the ladder was. And up here you have a key. now we'll head back up. And the key unlocks this chest. And you're going to find Hammergrim's Mist Amulet. It basically allows you to cast Fog Cloud. So, Fog Cloud is very, very useful for entering areas without being seen. So it's something useful to pick up and have in your inventory when you're trying to get through a door that you shouldn't be going through and that sort of stuff. Both Fog Cloud and Darkness are very useful for navigating those areas. So having a free cast of it is never bad.
Yoink!
Yoink. Like you guys have said before, her comments are awesome. So now we're
Still
finished
breathing,
here.
despite everything.
And we want to avoid this area. There are 2 more combat encounters. One here and one down here that we're avoiding for now. So you can make your way around the corner here. You don't have to. I'm going to exit out the front so I don't get anywhere near that. Okay. And again, as I look for where I'm going here, I'm heading down here, and you can kind of see the pathway that we're going to take to get there. And again, just moving slowly, a little bit at a time.
Keep your distance, darling. Easy.
Oof. Second nat 1. Oh, it wouldn't be the honor mode playthrough if we weren't throwing a bunch of those.
Looking ahead.
Okay, so again, just don't want to go down there, but we can work our way around the front here and search a little bit.
Might be useful. Time to press ahead.
There's going to be a lot of skeletons strewn throughout this place. And if you haven't guessed by now,
A large one.
you're now going to learn more about that. And you're going to be finding bits and pieces to put clues together about what happened here. And basically, this was a fight. And here you learn about Ketheric Thorm's speech to his troops before his victory over the Druids and Harpers. And this kind of lets you know more about it. You learn that the Druids and the Harpers formed an alliance against Ketheric Thorm way back in the past. It's been over 100 years now since this fight happened. And this was the battlefield. The Wraithwind town is where this saga played out. Okay, so again, we're going to cross here. And we can actually search this area here.
Let's march. For me?
Well, hello. Don't mind if I do.
All is ashen meat. Swift as my feet can carry me.
Alright, now we're going to continue making our way over here. And our pathway is going to take us down here. Now, here you have your first encounter with the higher level Shadow Curse. We've seen these boundaries before, just a little less intense for the lesser version of the Shadow Curse that we're in. If you cross this bridge, you're in the greater Shadow Curse. And if you don't have a Moonlantern or Pixie's Blessing, even the blessing from Isabel will not help you on that side of the bridge. Right?
Making me sweat.
Hard to believe that such formidable warriors could have fallen. And to whom?
I'm going to be sneaking here a little bit just to make sure that I stay out of the path here. So we have a slate here that says, this is basically letting you know about the monastery. If you haven't come into this area from there, this lets you know that there's a Githyanki creche over there.
Shh. Is that blood? No, never mind.
Now this area here, you're going to have an encounter down here. Okay? And you want to make sure that somebody survives that encounter, so you don't want to get too close to trigger it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the rest of my group up here. I'm going to come out of hiding, and I'm going to rush my way down there.
Never wanted the easy path.
Oh, yeah, actually, it's not here yet because we haven't been to Last Light. That's right. That's not a big deal. He'll be here once I go there, and can come back. So that's not a problem. That actually saves us some trouble. If you go to Last Light, you're going to speak to Roland. Roland's going to be upset that so many people died on the road to here, and he's going to head out looking for his brother and sister. He does not know that his brother and sister are in the prisons under Moonrise Towers. So he's going to be standing right here, and he's going to be surrounded by shadows. And he's going to do his very best to get killed by those shadows. But you want to save him so that you can have an interaction with him later in Act 3. But for now, we haven't talked to him yet. So he has not gotten upset and left to go search for his brother and sister, so he's not here, which is good. We can come back and do that again once we go to Moonrise.
Breathe quiet. Move with care.
Well, well, well.
Okay, and here you learn some more about the Sharans torturing some people here about, during the war when the Sharan Inquisitors took over, but it also lets you know about a house where they did that Inquisition. And that's going to open up a new quest line to investigate the Selûnite resistance. They talk about an abandoned potter's workshop, and that's where we're going to end up going. So we did seek protection from the Shadow Curse. That's now complete. And then Shadowheart, we gave her a night orchid, and she was happy.
Mind, never quiet. Light on my feet.
What's the story? Looky!
Should be easy.
Okay, so we'll do a little more searching here, and then we'll cross the bridge. And here you have the Gloomstrand shield. A standard +2 shield, but it gives you stealth +1. Not necessarily anything that we're really looking for here.
Well, in it.
And again, this is another location where you're crossing into the heavy Shadow Curse, and that's why it's going to drop a save here before you go in. Because normally as soon as you go in here, you're going to be dropped into turn-based mode. And you're going to have to find a way to traverse this. Now you can actually, there's a YouTube video of it, you can actually make your way into Moonrise without having a Moonlantern or the Pixie's Blessing. You have to kind of exploit turn-based mode and potions of speed to do it. But you can actually make it all the way through. Basically, you come down this way, make your way around up through here, turn the corner to the right, come across the bridge that's above this, and you're at Moonrise. You can actually make it. It's really difficult, and it's a stupid waste of resources. But if you want to do it, feel free. Now again, we're not deviating from our path here. There's a bunch of stuff on either side of us that we could be doing right now, but we are not going to. Because there's a reason that we want to...
We're close. I can feel it. The Absolute. Its power is strong here.
Okay, so there's a reason that we're coming here.
Playtime's over. So, perk up your ears. You and the pup have a new mission. Absolute's cult has gone and grabbed one of Zariel's assets. A devil. And a powerful one at that. They're locked up in the cult's fortress, Moonrise Towers. And you're getting him out. Questions! You're wasting my time! Let's see about getting your priorities fixed. Clause Z, Section 13. Should promised soul refuse obeyance or neglect duty, the pact holder shall cast the promised into Avernus as a lemure. I'll make it simple. Will fails or refuses, and he turns to a thick blob of stink flesh and sinks to Avernus. You either mount a quick rescue, or you condemn Will to an eternity sizzling in the hells. Sounds like an easy choice to me.
The perception check there would have let you know something that your eyes probably already told you, and that Mizora looked a little different in that than our previous encounters with her, in that she had this orangish reddish glow about her. Suffice to say, that was not really Mizora. That was a projection of Mizora, and we're going to learn more about that quite a bit later on here in Act 2. Okay, so here's the path I told you about. You're going to take a right after you come underneath this bridge. Don't want to go to the left. You want to head up these stairs. Here's the Waning Moon Tavern. We're going to be coming back to this. And when you get up into this area, you should see some shadow-cursed undead, including Karnas. This is where they ended up. Okay, so I'm going to go into hiding here. Some of them up here do patrol around, so you kind of have to watch out for that a little bit, but they don't come down here. They stay up on top, so you're free to walk around down here and take a right. You want to get toward this area and unlock a waypoint. There's the waypoint. Okay, and now that we're in here, we can come out of hiding. We're now safe inside of this area.
Walk in death.
That's far enough.
His thoughts invade your own, probing for purchase. Your parasite purrs in recognition.
My apologies. Welcome back, true soul. What news? General Ketherick's advisor went off on a field trip. Zarel's in charge till he gets back.
You'll find Zarel in the audience chamber, true soul. She'll be wanting to hear from you.
Well then, let's not keep her waiting.
Praise the Absolute.
Hey, and he said one of his advisors went off on a field trip. That advisor was Nier. Nier went off on his field trip to try and find the Grimforge. He's not coming back, though.
There can be no doubt. This is the place. This is where we'll discover the secret of the Absolute.
Okay, so here inside Moonrise, again, there's a bunch of things to do. There are a couple of very important vendors in here that is going to be very useful for us. There's also something that we want to look at. Now, I have no idea, because honestly I didn't prep this far in my off-stream honor mode playthrough or my off-stream tactician playthrough up to this point to know if this worked or not. This is my first time I'm doing it on stream with all of you. to see what's through these doors. Now, inside of here, we should hopefully see two people that we recognize. One of them would be Minthara, and the other one would be Sazza. Hopefully, we have done everything right, that they are both in here, and we're going to have an opportunity to interact with Ketheric and them both inside of here. If Sazza is in here, then you may actually hear Stream pop an achievement. If she's not, then you won't. But this is why I wanted to rush getting here, to kind of show you if all of our preparations worked out, because I have no idea if they did or not. So let's go see. And besides, at the very least, the cutscene in here is absolutely epic. There's Minthara, and there's Sazza. So now you have to play out a specific set of dialogue choices here to make this work. And again, I have not done this yet, so I'm hoping I remember this, because none of this is in my notes. I just ran out of time to play test all of this. So let's go in there and have this conversation.
I will not be slandered! General, you saw my reports. You know it's not my fault.
The facts suggest otherwise. You were ordered to retrieve the artifact. You failed to do so.
If I had been given drow warriors instead of goblin trash!
Oi! What?
You scrag!
Enough! A blast of mental energy washes over you, filling the room. Your tadpole squirms, urging you to obey.
Let me make sure I understand this. You're claiming that General Thorm gave you the wrong soldiers?
Yes. No!
You blame the Absolute's Chosen for your failure?
Of course it is not the General's fault.
Whose then?
Now there's another name that you saw there. Berserk is here. Now if you remember all the way back to the Blighted Village, Berserk was the goblin that was in charge of the group that was holding Wolbrin at the windmill. We did not have a fight with them. We convinced him to leave. And as such, he shows up here as well. This is one of the great things about this game. Small decisions in how you play something out hours and hours of playtime ago end up have consequences, even small consequences, much later on down the road. And like I say, it's just impressive that the developers went that far down this road, so to speak. So I actually this is a wisdom saving throw, and again, I have not tried this out, so I wasn't prepared for this. I don't think I have to do anything here. I'm just debating.
The goblins! They failed me. They failed us all.
You lying little...
And what would you do to those that have failed you?
They are put to death, obviously.
True. Ultimate failure must earn ultimate punishment. Night Warden Minthara, your crime is incompetence, and your sentence is death.
No!
Make her passing slow, disciple Zorel. Be creative.
As the General's attention shifts to you, a memory stirs. A memory of this room, and his voice raised in anger.
I'm surprised to see you again, true soul. You are here to assist and not to meddle, I trust. I would remind you that while in my halls, you obey me, just as you would any other chosen. What say you about our Minthara? It is fitting that one mad dog should judge another. A pity, then, that her faith was so inadequate. Take her below.
No! Please! Mercy! Please!
Bye-bye, princess.
Kill the goblins, too.
What? No! You creaking old bag of shit!
I'm so sorry, my lord. She's an unbeliever outside my control.
Try again. Dispose of the rest as you see fit. Or better yet, let us take advantage of our surprising guest and their particular creative genius. I'm sure the results will send a clear message to the troops on the importance of discipline.
Of course, my lord. Thank you. You heard the General. The goblins are yours. Deal with them however you wish.
The reason that we're getting some of these stranger dialogue options is because of the Dark Urge background. You have dealt with Ketheric before. Ketheric recognizes what you are, even though you don't.
Here in the seat of the Absolute's power, your authority over them is complete. They will obey any command. Report to me upstairs when you're done.
You wouldn't hurt me, would ya? We're mates, me and you. Practically family.
Okay, so all of these things here are all going to end with the goblins dying. This last one here is not going to be a popular choice in an interaction that you have with Zorel later. Okay, it's going to lead to, like I say, some not great responses from her, but this hopefully is going to pop an achievement for us.
You won't regret this. Praise the Absolute.
Mercy? You showed the goblins mercy? Ugh. The half-orc won't like this.
In another lifetime, you were greeted in this throne room like a god, not the living wreck you are now. Your disgrace has something to do with this Ketheric. You yearn to flay him until he forgets himself, as you have.
I don't know if you heard the little beep sound, but yes. We got one of the harder achievements to earn in this game. and that is she cannot be caged. If you rescue Sazza from the goblin camp, or I mean from the grove, and then you do not kill her in the goblin camp, and you choose to free her here in Moonrise Towers, that all leads to proccing that achievement. So it's a difficult one to do that takes a lot of planning and forethought as you go through the game, and it all led up to something here, which I'm happy to say it worked, because again, I hadn't tested this far in my personal playthrough.
With difficulty, you banish the pooling evil that bewitches your quivering limbs. Perhaps parts of you were scattered in this spire. Time to knit yourself together.
The seat of the Absolute's power, occupied by a general that cannot be killed. But his followers are flesh and blood. We must learn what fuels his power.
Okay, so you can now see Sazza and Fezerk and Racha are leaving. You can't talk with them. There's no interactions that you can have with them. But yeah, they are... that proc the achievement. And hey, Reinmar, welcome. Sorry, I was a bit caught up in making sure all of that had finally worked, because I wasn't really sure. So now we have a new quest here. Decide Minthara's fate. Minthara has been condemned to death. We ought to visit her while we can. The Blade of Frontiers, we picked up this new, strange, kind of unknown quest from Mizora, and everything else is now caught up. And next week, at the start of the episode, we are going to resolve Minthara's fate. And that's going to take a little bit of work on our part to do, but hopefully as a bard, being the smooth-tongued people that we are, we can avoid any problems with it. There are a couple of ways to get Minthara out of Moonrise Towers, and as a bard, I'm pretty sure we're going to be okay just walking her right out the front door. But I am going to have more time to playtest all of this. So I'm not too worried, I don't think, but I'll have a way to get her out of there without triggering Moonrise Towers to become hostile, because like I said, there are some really important vendors for us out here that we don't want to lose access to. There's also an encounter that we're going to have inside of... is it a room on this side of Moonrise? Yes, with Araj, that's going to lead to something in Act 3. So there's a bunch of things that we want to do in here, and we don't want to upset the natural order of things, so to speak. So let's drop a save here, and we will pick up there next week. So, as always, thank you all for being here. I'm glad things worked out after all of the planning that we had done in Act 1 so long ago. I'm glad things have so far worked out, and we've gotten to this point. Things are coming together really, really well. So, as always, without your support, none of this would be possible. This is Commander Jorval saying until next time, fare thee well.